We are learning new information about the murder of a Wayne County woman, including details that the suspect may have called a 911 dispatcher to confess what he did.
With the Kentucky Derby right around the corner, the spring is in full effect here in the Bluegrass. But coming up, we'll tell you why state health department officials are concerned about the start of another season, mosquito season.
And a Lexington High School athlete receiving special permission from the NCAA to swim in a college meet for her mother, who's fighting cancer.
This is WKYT News at 5:30.
Good evening. We are learning some new details about the murder of a Wayne County woman.
Police say Joseph Jones killed his wife Rachel, then dumped her body in a well. WKYT's Phil Pendleton is in Monticello with more on the suspect and the victim in our top story at 5:30.
The murder of Rachel Jones may have actually happened on Wednesday night, but her husband, according to court records, called a 911 dispatcher Friday morning and told the dispatcher of what he did before taking off for Mississippi. Affidavits filed in the Wayne County Courthouse say that Joseph Jones called 911 Friday morning saying that he killed his wife. He even confessed to the dispatcher why he allegedly did it. Court documents say that Joey Jones advised his wife was going to leave him. He did not want her to, so he strangled her. Jones also reportedly asked the dispatcher how long he would go to prison for the crime. The 28-year-old victim worked at the Walmart deli, and a wreath honoring her memory was set up in the entrance Monday. Jones pleaded not guilty to charges of murder, domestic violence, and tampering with physical evidence. The judge read from the citation, which states that Jones confessed to his sister after calling 911.
Stated her brother Joey Jones dropped his 9-year-old son off at her residence on the morning of April 22nd and told Jessica Jones he had killed his wife. A body has been discovered inside the well at the location the defendant described.
Jones was ruled a flight risk and ordered to stay in jail unless he meets a $500,000 cash-only bond. Rachel Jones' funeral has been set for 11 o'clock Wednesday morning at the Hickson Vaughn Funeral Home. Visitation will be Tuesday night after 6 o'clock. In Wayne County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
Jones also told the dispatcher he took off to Mississippi but came back to Kentucky because he couldn't live with himself anymore over what he did.
Deputies in Laurel County have arrested a convicted sex offender they say was caught peeping into windows. 41-year-old Samuel Nolan was arrested just after midnight outside Emma Estates Apartments. Deputies say someone reported a man looking into windows at the apartment complex. They say Nolan is a registered sex offender and had been living at the apartment complex but had not reported his change of address. Nolan is charged with failure to comply with a sex offender registry and trespassing. More charges may be filed.
A Louisiana search team will return tomorrow to look for a man who's been missing for nearly 4 years. Our county-by-county coverage at 5:30 begins in Laurel County. Clarence Holmes disappeared in 2012 on Laurel Lake while he was helping others during a storm. Since then, the Southeast Louisiana Underwater Search Team has looked for him several times. Crews will return to the lake tomorrow to resume their search. In Clark County, a man wanted for questioning in a violent robbery has surrendered. Police had been looking for Aaron Vasquez in connection with a robbery at the Cash Advance America on Bypass Road. They say he pointed a gun at the clerk inside the store and demanded money. Police say Vasquez turned himself in this afternoon. He's charged with robbery. In Montgomery County, a new arraignment date has been set for a bus driver arrested for DUI while on the job. Brian Fletcher was arrested last week at Camargo Elementary School. He was scheduled to appear before a judge today, but that date has been moved because he bonded out of jail. He'll now go before a judge on May 12th. Fletcher has been suspended from his job with the Montgomery County school system.
It has been a beautiful start to our work week with warm temperatures and sunshine spilling over from the weekend, but some changes are coming. WKYT meteorologist Jim Caldwell is live in our First Alert Weather Center with more on that. Jim.
And Sam, we're going to start tracking rounds of showers and thunderstorms. Starting with tomorrow, we get a big push of moisture in here, and it's going to hang around through most of the week. So some of the views that we're seeing out there today, plenty of sunshine, you will get to see from time to time this week because it's not going to be a complete nonstop washout. There will be breaks, but you'll also have more rain chances than we've seen in quite some time. All locations there from Frankfort, Jackson, London, and here in Lexington reporting low 80s here on the 25th day of April. What a fantastic looking day. And other locations, upper 70s, low 80s. Pretty common sight to see, with many thermometers showing up across Kentucky here this evening. And as you look to our Defender Radar Network, there's nothing going on radar-wise, but what I've done is just thrown the satellite animation up so we can see where some of the clouds are, because we do have some of those still hanging out with us. As we look ahead to tomorrow, we're at 77 at 5 o'clock. You can see winds are starting to get a little gusty and rain is in the area. Showers and even some thunderstorms possible as we get into your Tuesday. Winds will start to weaken some, but notice what happens here. Round after round of some heavier rain will start pushing through the area as we go into your Wednesday, and even during the daytime hours on Wednesday as well, where we could run into some stronger stuff, perhaps especially later on in the day. That's going to be a period that we watch very closely, but you can see with that setup there with the animation, we've got several rain chances coming at us. Not that it's a bad thing. We just don't need a whole lot in a short amount of time. We're going to track those chances a little more widespread coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Jim. This time of year includes a lot of outdoor activities, from cookouts to the Kentucky Derby.
But health departments are preparing for another reason. Warm temperatures bring mosquitoes, and this year there's even more of a concern over the creatures than normal. Mike Linden talked to the Madison County Health Department about their plan to battle the bugs this summer.
With the arrival of the growing season in Kentucky, it's also the start of another season, mosquito season.
The breeding cycle of the mosquitoes is 7 to 10 days. And they lay hundreds or thousands of eggs. So a population can ramp up very, very quickly.
Health officials say the goal of the Fight the Bite Day and Night campaign is to prevent the spread of a disease that's particularly harmful to pregnant women.
We want to prevent the Zika virus from getting into the local mosquito population.
Thacker says prevention is always the first line of defense, but with smaller, more aggressive mosquitoes, it can be a little more difficult to manage, but by no means impossible.
When you think of where a mosquito might breed, you might think of an area in a backyard that holds a large amount of standing water, like a flower pot or a bird bath. But Thacker says this particular breed of mosquito doesn't need very much room at all. And in order to breed, it really only needs this much space, like this cup here.
State health officials have confirmed 6 cases of the Zika virus in Kentucky, but with the start of mosquito season, the spread of disease is quickly becoming the #1 concern.
All it takes is for one person who's infected to get bitten and that mosquito to go bite someone else, and you've gotten it into the local population of mosquitoes, and then it becomes a much more difficult problem to deal with.
In Madison County, Mike Linden, WKYT.
According to the CDC, the symptoms include for Zika fever, rash, red eyes, and joint pain.
The Lexington-Fayette County Health Department is adding a new service to its needle exchange program. Starting Friday, the health department will give on-site referrals to rehab programs. The needle exchange program started last September.
At the very beginning, people have come in and said, we'd like to get help. How can you help us get into rehabilitative services? So we know the need has been out there.
The needle exchange is every Friday afternoon from 1:30 to 4 o'clock at the Lexington-Fayette County Health Department.
Doctors are once again warning parents about those popular detergent packets, the really small ones. A new study shows an increase in the number of children getting hurt after biting into the colorful packets. Detergent packets can be a convenient way to do the laundry, but to a toddler they can look like candy.
Dad, please.
2 years ago, Angela Avent told us her daughter Renea had to go on life support when she ate a packet as a toddler.
She was just foaming at the mouth, couldn't breathe, couldn't move. She was just laying there.
A new study in the journal Pediatrics says there were more than 62,000 detergent-related calls to poison control centers in 2013 and 2014. There was a 17% rise in calls specifically about laundry packets. Among those, there were 17 cases of coma, 6 cases of respiratory arrest, and 2 cases of cardiac arrest.
And we want to let parents know this is something they want to take caution with. Put it up in the cabinet. Put it behind a locked, a cabinet lock.
Procter & Gamble, the maker of Tide Pods and Gain Flings, introduced new pods this year that are stronger. They also contain a bitter-tasting substance on the outer film to stop children from biting into them.
We are introducing a new bag with a child guard zipper.
The new packages hit store shelves next month. Safety advocates plan to monitor the changes to make sure they prevent poisonings. Procter & Gamble says during testing, 90% of children under 5 years were not able to open the new Child Guard packages. Last year, Consumer Reports stopped recommending laundry packets because of the potential danger, but the industry says it's adopting new voluntary safety changes. Kentucky Governor Matt Bevin says he appreciates that lawmakers finally passed a budget, but he's also frustrated that it took so long.
And a congressional candidate's TV commercial has a lot of people talking, but could it be pulled off the air? Bill Bryant has the bottom line.
Good evening. Governor Matt Bevin is expressing appreciation that the Kentucky legislature finally passed a state budget, but he also indicates frustration that it took so long for lawmakers to reach a deal. During this weekend's edition of Kentucky Newsmakers, the governor said it's hard for him to understand why lawmakers wait so late in the session to give their full attention to the budget.
It frustrates me, both now as governor and long before I was ever governor, to see how often we push to the final hour or hours the very key decisions that we had days and weeks and months to accomplish. And that needs to end, and I hope in future legislative sessions we'll get to the big things first.
You can find full editions of Kentucky Newsmakers on demand on WKYT's YouTube channel. A political ad running in Kentucky's 1st District Republican congressional race has led to some discussion. Candidate Mike Pape's 30-second spot features actors portraying a run across the Mexican border. Some have complained to WKYT and others about the content of the ad, but WKYT General Manager Chris Mossman says a 124-page booklet from the National Association of Broadcasters spells out the detailed rules about political advertising. He says stations have no control over the content or even whether to accept ads in federal races.
With federal candidates, that being for president, U.S. Senate, or Congress, we must accept the business from all candidates within those races, and we have no right of censorship at all.
In state races, a broadcaster can choose whether to run ads in a particular race and then has to accept all ads in the races it allows in. A station does have more control over issue ads run by interest groups and can decide whether to accept those. By the way, the 1st District Republican candidates will appear on KET's Kentucky Tonight with Bill Goodman this evening at 8 p.m. Bill Bryant, WKYT.
A heads up for the many drivers who regularly take New Circle Road. The Transportation Cabinet says they will continue work on the widening project starting tonight. The left lane of the inner loop will be closing from 7 tonight until 7 in the morning. Workers will be doing construction on the median barrier wall. These closures will be ongoing until further notice.